And welcome back to GFB. This is Patrick, and today we've got another deck builder. Today we're gonna look at one of my friend's decks. His name is Kyle, and he uses Superheavy Samurais. So, pretty interesting deck, I'd say. No spells or trap cards in it, as Superheavy Samurais are pretty much all against spells and traps. And pretty much we'll see how it goes. I haven't really looked over the deck, I've just sorted it out and we'll pretty much learn it together. I mean, he does play really well, like he plays the game really well and he wins a lot of duels, so I guess this deck is worth a shot if you want to build something new. So first of all, we've got 4 pendulums. So first of all, we have 2 Superheavy Samurai General Coral, 1-star monster with a pendulum scale of 8. And with an effect, pendulum effect, while you have a spell or trap card, while you have a spell or trap card in your graveyard, this card's pendulum scale becomes 4. Once per turn, when a Superheavy Samurai monster you control destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can activate this effect. That monster can make a second attack in a row, even if this card leaves the field. Well, that's pretty good actually. So that's quite a good pendulum effect. And for its normal effect, if you have no spells or trap cards in your graveyard, you can tribute up to 2 Superheavy Samurai monsters, draw that many cards. You can only use this effect once per turn. So we've got 2 of this guy, quite a good effect, I didn't even know he does that. And then next, we've got Superheavy Samurai General Jade, which is I think an 8-star monster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, an 8-star monster with a pendulum scale of 1. Its pendulum effect is you cannot pendulum summon monsters except Superheavy Samurai monsters. This effect cannot be negated. Wow. Once per turn, you can target 1 Superheavy Samurai monster you control, increase its level by 1, even if this card leaves the field. So again, really good effect. Quite a good card. Attack 1800, defense 2800. With Superheavy Samurais, they attack in defense mode with their defense mode, so pretty much their attack doesn't matter unless they're in actual attack mode. So yeah, for its normal effect, you can tribute summon this card by tributing 1 Superheavy Samurai monster. When this card is normal or special summon, you can change its battle position. This card can attack while in face-up defense position, just as I said. If it does, apply its defense for damage calculation. Yep, so we've got 2 of him to set our scales with. So that's all for the pendulums. Next, normal monsters, like not normal, effect monsters, but there's only 2 monsters in this deck that aren't a Superheavy Samurai card, which is 2 giant rats. And I believe when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 earth monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck in face-up attack position. So this card is actually really good for this deck, as most of the monsters don't have a lot of attack, as I just said. Yep, they don't have a lot of attack. Well, the pendulums ones actually do, but the other ones that I'm going to show us throughout the video don't. So 2 of those. I'll come back to those later because there's a purpose for them. Now for all the equip cards for the Superheavy Samurai monsters, we've got Superheavy Samurai Soulbuster Gauntlet, and its effect is the monster gains 400 defense during either player's damage step. When a defense position Superheavy Samurai monster you control battles an opponent's monster and you have no spells and trap cards in your graveyard, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Your battling monster's defense becomes double its original defense until the end of this turn. So you can pretty much whip out a 5000 defense monster in like no time. So 3 of those, of course. Really good card to use in the deck. There we go. Maybe you'll focus. There we go. Superheavy Samurai Gauntlet. 400 defense and 0 attack. So that's the first one. Then we've got 2 Superheavy Samurai Drum. It's a tuner If this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target one Super Heavy Samurai monster in your graveyard, except Super Heavy Samurai Drum, special summon it. You can only use this effect of Super Heavy Samurai Drum once per turn. Again, good card to special summon monsters back onto the field. Since you don't have any spells or traps, so you can't really protect yourself, so it's good to have something that summons monsters back onto the field. So 2 of those. Next we've got 2 times Super Heavy Samurai Soul Horns, and you can target one Super Heavy Samurai monster you control, equip this monster from your hand or your side of the field to that target. It can make a second attack during each battle phase. When this card is equipped to a monster by this card effect, you can special summon this card. What? What? When this card is equipped to a monster by this card's effect, you can special summon this card. Oh, so you can de-equip it, okay. You can only use the effect of Super Heavy Samurai Soulhorn once per turn. Okay, cool. So again, quite a good card. You can make double attack. Always useful to have 2 attacks. So 2 of those. Next we've got 3 times Super Heavy Samurai Soul Claw. It's a grade 2 monster with 500 attack and 500 defense, and with an effect you can target one Super Heavy Samurai monster you control, equip this monster from your hand or your side of the field to the target. It gains 500 attack and defense. Also, it can not be destroyed by battle. While this card is equipped to a monster by this card effect, you can special summon this card, blah 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 blah. So pretty much the last bit is always the same for those cards, but the effects vary for what they do, of course. So 3 of those monsters gain attack, pretty good. So 3 of those over here. Next we've got 2 times Super Heavy Samurai Soul Shield Wall, grade 3, 1200 attack, 1200 defense. You can target one Super Heavy Samurai monster you control, equip this monster from your hand or your side of the field to the target. It gains 1200 defense. When this monster equipped with this card by this effect, blah blah blah, graveyard, negate the attack. Oh, you can also negate attack, so if it was to be destroyed, you can send this to a graveyard and yeah, negate the attack, but the monster's defense becomes 0. So 2 of those, pretty good card as well. There you go. So 2 of those. Next we have 2 times Super Heavy Samurai Soul Bang Cannon. 1000 attack, 1000 defense. You can target one Super Heavy Samurai monster you control, equip this monster from your hand or your side of the field to that target. It gains 1000 defense during either player's battle phase. When your opponent activates a card effect while you control a defense position Super Heavy Samurai monster, you can banish this card from your grave and negate the activation. If you do destroy it, then destroy as many monsters on the field as possible, minimum 1, and if you do, both players take 1000 damage. Quite a good card to deal damage and destroy, get rid of stuff. So also a really good card and a 3-star, so it's good for synchro summons. And then the final 2 cards for equips for Super Heavy Samurais is Super Heavy Samurai Soul Piercer. Machine, grade 4, 1200 attack and defense 0, so you don't really want to put that into defense. Now for its effect is, let me just read it. You can target one Super Heavy Samurai monster you control, equip this monster from your hand or your side of the field to that target. If it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one Super Heavy Samurai monster from your deck to your hand, except Super Heavy Samurai Soul Piercer. Boom. Good card to bring stuff into your hand again. So 2 of those. So that's all for equips. For monster equips, sort of. Yeah, so technically those are like kind of spell cards, but monster spell cards for the deck. So yeah. Next we have Super Heavy Samurai monsters that you summon and do stuff with. So we've got Super Heavy Samurai Battle Ball. Now its ability, it's a tuner as well, so it's used for synchro summons with this deck. If all monsters you control are Super Heavy Samurai monsters and you have no spells or trap cards in your graveyard, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls that has a level, so no XYZs. Send both it and this card from the field to the graveyard, then special summon from your extra deck one Super Heavy Samurai Synchro monster whose level equals the total original levels of those 2 monsters in the graveyard. This card can This special summon is treated as a synchro summon. You can only use this effect of Super Heavy Samurai Battle Ball once per turn. So a really good card if you want to get rid of one of your opponent's monsters. And on top, you get to summon one synchro monster using their monsters, so it's really good. Next we have Super Heavy Samurai Trumpeter. Also a tuner, level 2, 300 attack, 600 defense. If you have no spell or trap cards in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. After this card was special summoned this way, you can special summon monsters. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except Super Heavy Samurai monsters, which is pretty much the whole deck, so it doesn't really matter. If this card is tributed for the tribute summon of a Super Heavy Samurai monster and sent to the graveyard, and you have no spell or trap card in your graveyard, you can special summon this card again. Okay, so quite interesting. So we've got 2 of those in the deck. Good for synchro summons, again. Next we've got 1 copy of Super Heavy Samurai Giga Gloves. 1000 defense, 1000 attack, 3 stars. If this card is sent to the graveyard and you have no spells or trap cards in your graveyard, you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, then place them on the top of the deck in any order. When an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can banish this card from your graveyard, excavate the top card of your deck, and if it's a Super Heavy Samurai monster, add it to your hand. And if you do, the attacking monster attacks become 0, otherwise send it to the graveyard. Quite the OP little card right here. Then we've got Super Heavy Samurai Swordsman. When this card is normal or special summon, you can change its battle position. If a Super Heavy Samurai monster you control battles an opponent's monster, after damage calculation the opponent's monster attack becomes 0. So 2 of those. Next we have Super Heavy Samurai Magnet. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Super Heavy Samurai monster from your hand. Then change this card to defense position. Monsters your opponent controls cannot attack any monster except for this one. So this card is really good when you have another one of them in your field, because then you lock it, so your opponent cannot attack any monster, because he won't be able to attack anything but him and then anything but him. So they cancel each other's effects out, like kind of. So next we've got 2 times Super Heavy Samurai Blue Brawler. This is just an attack monster so that you can deal damage when normal summoning for the first turn or something. So when this card is normal or special summon, you can change its battle position. Cannot be destroyed. This card cannot be destroyed by battle, so it's quite good as well. Next we have 2 times Super Heavy Samurai Scales. If your opponent controls 2 or more monsters and you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target 1 level 4 or lower Super Heavy Samurai monster in your graveyard except Super Heavy Samurai Scales. Special summon it in defense. You can only use this effect of Super Heavy Samurai Scales once per turn. Also a very good card to bring back monsters. Super Heavy Samurai Big Waraji. If you have no spell trap cards in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. After this card was special summoned this way, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except Super Heavy Samurai monsters. This card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summoning of a machine type monster. Now, the reason why I left the giant rats out is because they work very well with this final monster in the deck, which is Super Heavy Samurai Big Benkei. And because he has 1000 attack and a giant rat can bring out a monster who has 1400 or less, and he's got 3500 defense. So if you bring him out using giant rat special ability, you have a 3500 beat stick straight off if you get him in the first turn. So quite an OP combo right there. 8-star monster. When this card is normal or special summon, you can change its battle position. Super Heavy Samurai monster you control can attack while in face up defense position. If you do, apply their defense for damage calculation. So 3 of those. Always fun, I guess. So quite a good deck. Although it doesn't have any spells or traps, so it sounds just something different in general. So the deck is there. And the final cards is the extra deck. And for the extra deck we have, let me just check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 synchro monsters. So we've got Super Heavy Samurai Ogre Shuten Doji, Machine Synchro Effect, 1 Machine Type Tuner, 1 or more non-tuner Super Heavy Samurai monsters. This card can attack whilst in face-up defense position. If it does, apply its defense for damage calculation when this card is synchro summoned. While you have no spell or trap cards in the graveyard, you can destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. Another really good card, it's like a heavy storm for the samurai deck, but it's a monster and it has 2500 attack and defense because the attack doesn't really matter when it's in defense mode. Next we've got 2x super heavy samurai beast QB. Machine synchro effect, one tuner, one or more non-tuner super heavy samurai monsters. This card can attack while in face-up defense position. If it does apply its damage or blah 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 blah. If you have no spell or trap cards in your graveyard, this card gains 900 defense for each special summon monster in your opponent's control. So another really good card, but it's hard to summon because it's a level 9. So you need specific cards for that. And last but not least, you've got 3x Super Heavy Samurai Warlord Susanoo. Machine type synchro effect, one machine type tuner, one or more non-tuner Super Heavy Samurai monsters. This card can attack while in face-up defense position. If it does, apply blah 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 once per turn during either player's turn. If you have no spell or trap cards in your graveyard, you can target one spell trap card in your opponent's graveyard, set it to your side of the field, but banish it when it leaves the field. So it's as if, like, you can take control of other spells and you can use them and then get rid of them. So you pretty much steal from your opponent and never give it back. So yeah, there's the Susanoo, like 3 different arts. So you've got like this kind of shattered foil, you've got, I guess that's a super, I think, or an ultra. No, it's super. And then ultra, right there. And it's got about, there you go, 3800 defense and 2400 attack. So in my opinion, overall this deck is quite good. I'd give it like a rating of 7.5 out of 10, just because it doesn't have any spells or traps and it's quite hard. Sometimes if the combos don't work out or you don't pull the right cards in the deck, then you're quite screwed because there's nothing you can do. Like you can't even protect yourself if you have like a Mirror Force or Souls of Revealing Light. So in my opinion, that's the only flaw of the deck, but overall it's good. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. The next deck builder video will be a DDD deck by another one of my friends. He let me borrow it to do a review on it as well, and so you guys can have a look and maybe you'll like the deck so you can also build it. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, and just keep it going.